People are starting to question Deion Sanders' job security. Is he safe in Boulder, or is his time running out?
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Buffs. I'm your host, Kevin Borba. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So download the app today. We're also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to make Locked On Buffs your first listen of the day. Joining me today is former Buff himself, Jordan Domineck. We're going to be talking about Deion Sanders' job security. Is he at risk of losing his job? Is he not? We'll discuss that. We're going to talk about how important this Arizona game is. And then we're going to dive into the complicated situation that is Colorado's quarterback situation. Jordan, I think a lot of people don't know what to do with Colorado, right? You lose 53-7 against Utah, who had a true freshman at quarterback who had never started before. He had like 9 career passing attempts before Saturday, and then they just absolutely torch you, right? And I think so many people are like, something needs to change, and automatically their thoughts go to Deion Sanders. And one, I think Deion Sanders should get all the time in the world to figure things out, right? He had a very good year last year. Even your guys' year, you guys took a major step up from where the program was the year before. So I don't think that's fair to Deion Sanders. That being said, I do think he needs to make changes to his staff. But talk to me from your perspective. How well received was Deion Sanders in Boulder?
He was extremely popular when he first got to Boulder. He was definitely the talk of the town, as he has been for the past couple of years. He brought in an extreme amount of revenue to the school. He brought in a sane amount of applicants to the school just because they wanted to come. There was a time where I believe he's teaching a class, and there was a wait list on how many people wanted to get into the class. So you can tell that his impact at the school was noticeable. And I feel like he doesn't have to worry too much about his job security based on the amount of support that he brings into the school just himself. He has had 2 great seasons where, well, not 2 great seasons, but 2 seasons where they've each been a step up from the year before. This past season, he did lose a few, Heisman worthy candidates, and he doesn't have the same team as he did, this second year, his first year, second year. And that's okay. It's really just going to be a rebuild process. He doesn't have a quarterback that he can truly trust right now. He doesn't have a quarterback that he can just throw out there into the fire, and he doesn't have Shador. Like, we're all so used to Shador. We're all so used to Colorado just, they're rolling through people. Our quarterback is having 400, 500-yard games, 300, 400-yard games, passing the ball. That's not what this is anymore. They truly had something special when Shador was there. I do believe that Coach Prime wouldn't be too worried about his job security at the moment. Like, every coach is worried about job security, but I do believe he has a good track record of success at Colorado. However, he is going to have to change a few things up. He's going to try to recruit the portal hard, try to bring in people that he believes will be, the dogs that he's always been talking about, people that'll go out there and put it all on the line. I feel like he's going to go look for people, like you said, new staff. He's going to need to make some changes in the staff room to make sure that the defense plays well, the offense plays well, because at this point, what else can you really say? We see that when Colorado works, it works. And when it doesn't, it doesn't. And we need something that's more consistent, both coaching-wise and player-wise. And we haven't gotten that from Colorado this year. And Coach Prime knows that. He sees that. And he's going to go try and find somebody that he knows can replicate exactly what he wants, and put it on the field. And I don't think he got that this year with the quarterbacks that he has. I do believe he has very talented quarterbacks, but they just weren't all able to piece it together. I feel like we do have a lot of potential in Juju coming in next year. I feel like, well, we can talk about that later, but I do feel like Juju might be coming up to play real soon. And I also believe that Coach Prime, when it comes to job security, I feel like he's going to have to make some major changes around the place. Like, when it comes to coaches, when it comes to the transfer portal, what kind of team he wants. And he's going to have to find leaders, people out there that'll come out there and truly show the passion that they have, show the kind of people that Coach Prime wants. He needs people that'll run to the ball, that won't just jog, that won't give up when they're down 21-0, that won't give up when they're down 28-0. Like he needs people that'll play through the whistle every play, no matter what. And he's been looking for that. He had that. I believe he still does have some of that,
Mhm.
but it's not the mentality of the entire team like it was the year before. And I feel like he's going to go out there recruiting, try and find people with similar mentalities to him that are focused and obsessed with winning, and they're going to come back a all better team.
Yeah, I think it's a hard sort of discussion to have because I think so many people want to jump to that conclusion where it's like, one like really bad year and it's time for him to go. And I think for the people that are wanting Deion Sanders to be on the hot seat or think he's on the hot seat, I think you have to understand how much he's done for the program in his 2.5 years already. But I also think you have to understand that Deion Sanders isn't going to be on the hot seat unless things really get out of hand, like in a couple years. And I think the easiest way for Deion Sanders to show he's committed to Colorado is by making changes to his staff, right? And I know we've talked about it at length, but a lot of people on his staff are close friends of his. And I think there's always a saying about working with family and friends is it doesn't always work out. And you run into situations like this where if he doesn't make these tough decisions and move on from certain coaches simply because of their previous relationships, then I think he's going to start to lose the support of fans, right? I think there's certain coaches on the staff who fans are like, which fans shouldn't dictate who coaches hire or fire. But I think fans are smart these days and they recognize what's working and what's not. And so I'm not going to name names, but there's certain coaches who have not proven that they are worthy of being back next year, right? And I think that's the hard part because Deion Sanders, and I would like you to attest to this as well, very loyal to everyone that is in his inner circle. Would you agree with that?
I do believe he's loyal to the people within his inner circle. However, I don't believe that he has a problem with making those hard decisions.
Okay.
I feel like he has been evaluating both the coaches and the players throughout the entire process of the season,
Mhm.
and we're gonna see some changes. Like, it's not simply because he's been with him since this day or that day, but I do believe that we're gonna see some changes, and that's just gonna be Coach Prime. That's just him himself, understanding and recognizing that there need to be changes if he wants to have a truly successful program in Colorado going forward. Um, I can't attest to what coach does what because I don't really know.
Mhm.
I remember the only coach that, well, there were two coaches for me, Coach Sal and Coach Nick Williams. And Coach
Mhm.
Williams is over at Syracuse at the moment, and I believe Coach Sal is retired.
Mhm.
Um, those were my coaches, and they wholeheartedly poured into me, and I feel like I poured back into them and everything like that. So I can't say which coaches should be on the hot seat, which coaches shouldn't. I don't know anything about that, but I
Mhm.
do believe that Coach Prime has been evaluating everybody. I believe that he knows exactly which coaches haven't been up to par. I know he knows which players haven't been up to par, and we'll see both transfer portals in and out as usual. And I feel like it's going to be a little bit bigger of an influx this year for Colorado,
Yeah.
because he's really going to want some new people, some new dogs, some people that are coming over and willing to play and, you know, truly adhere to the program that they have. Versus he's also going to go out and find new coaches as well. People that he believes will be instrumental in setting Colorado up for success. So I can attest, yeah, he is quite like back to the question you asked. He is quite loyal to the people that he has,
Yeah.
but he also does want the best for the success of anywhere he's at,
Mhm.
and he's willing to make those hard decisions if need be.
Yeah, I think the decisions, like you said, they're going to be hard. I think the transfer portal is going to be really interesting because Colorado is losing. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I want to say it's 35 plus guys this year, simply because they're seniors, and the recruiting class is currently only 13 people deep, right? So it's going to be another hefty transfer portal class for Colorado, regardless of what happens. So finding the right coaches who could develop and coach guys is important, and finding the right players who could come in and buy into the culture and the message is also really important because I think that's also an issue Colorado's had this year. So they haven't had the complete, I won't say buy-in, but they just haven't got what they needed from this group of transfers, which is unfortunate to say the least. When we come back, we're going to talk about how important this Arizona game is on Saturday. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at FanDuel. The NBA season is here, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into the same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and pick your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. It's myself, Kevin Borba. It's Jordan Domineck, former Buff. Jordan, Colorado is playing against an Arizona team who they are not great by any means, but they're sitting at 4-3. They also are trying to chase a bowl game. They have two of the top graded corners in college football. They have one of the, I think, more underrated quarterbacks in college football, Noah Fafita, who's thrown for 17 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions with 1,800 yards passing. Like, he's really good. And this Arizona team is nothing to look over. And I think at this point, Colorado shouldn't be looking over anyone. But I think we're getting to the point of a season where, especially after Utah, you're coming off a huge loss where you you were embarrassed on national television, right? Everyone was talking about the game. And I think for some players, this will be the moment where they decide if they quit or not. And I'm not saying like quit the team, but essentially quit on the team where they're just showing up, going through the motions. As a former player who's been through tough stretches like this, how do you know if someone's quitting on the team, and how, I don't want to say how easy is it to quit on the team, but how common is it for guys to quit on a team when things get rough?
It's more common than you would want to believe, and you hate to see it as an athlete. It's quite common in certain individuals. It's usually the people that weren't bought into the team in the first place. The ones that were there that are only stat padding, that were only there to, try and make themselves look good. It would usually depend on that. And
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to tell when somebody gave up with a team. It's all effort. When you're in the game, you should be giving 100% effort every single time. You should be running to the ball. You should be playing your assignment as well as you can. You should be absolutely trying to dominate the person in front of you in a one-on-one matchup. And a lot of people don't do that. They might come into practice, they might go through the motions. You can tell when the effort's there and when the effort's not. And if the effort's not there, then they basically have given up on the team. Because if you're not going 100% every single rep, every play like it's your last, what are you doing? Like, there are times if you can just run through, and then if you need a break, go tap your helmet, get a sub. You could be in practice. You got to make sure you go through everything that you got to do. It's easy to tell when somebody's giving up. Um, and it's easy to tell when somebody's motivated. It's easy to tell when somebody hasn't given up. Their effort levels are still off the charts. Even during my time there, you could see the people that truly wanted to play. And I believe I told this story last week to you. When we had a little come to Jesus meeting with the DNs during one of the practices, where it was like everybody was going through the motions, the effort levels were down. It didn't seem like we were going to be able to go to a bowl game. And we were out there still trying to make things happen, in our little individual drills and our pass drills and everything like that. We were still trying to show effort through all of our actions and put good things on film. And I feel like that's another reason you shouldn't give up either way, because even if you are graduating, even if you are trying to hit the transfer portal or anything like that, you still want to try and put great things on film. You still want to put good effort on film. You still want to put good tape out there so that wherever you go, no coach can say, oh, he gave up on his team in the last 3 games when they didn't make a bowl game, or when they last 4 games when they weren't projected to make a bowl game. You can't let that be a deciding factor for you. You have to be able to go out there, and it's just effort at this point. Is you have to show your effort on the field and off the field, no matter what.
Yeah. I think the hard part about this, especially like hearing guys quit, which 2 weeks ago, right? Or no, last week, I guess we talked about, I think it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever. The former player from last year, Chidozie Nwankwo, coming back and saying everybody was being lazy. Coach Prime had talked about people quitting on the team. I think that there was signs of it happening already, which is already concerning, because it's like you guys were, I mean, they have one more loss now, but they were even closer to making to a bowl game, if you know what I mean. Like, it was like you have 4 games to win 2 games, if you will, or 4 games to win 3, whatever the number was, right? So that part was concerning. But looking forward now, it's like the concerning part is, one, say the number's 35 guys, right? 35 guys are done after this year.
Yeah.
Whether they all have NFL aspirations or they're going to go into the workforce, for a lot of them, it's going to be the last time they ever play football. And so it's like, it's disappointing that you put in so much work throughout your entire life. And like now at the very end, you're just like, whatever. Like, I know like passion for a sport can die. I know passion for whatever can fade, but like, isn't it disappointing to see like fellow athletes sort of just mail it in just because it's like not going as perfect as they would have liked? And granted, Colorado could still make a bowl game. Like, they just have to win 3 games, right? Granted, they have to win 3 out of their last 4, but it is possible. So when you see people quitting, it's like, okay, you're giving up your last chance. And I know a lot of people that would kill to go back and play one more game, one more snap or whatever. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Definitely. I can definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I believe that a lot of players see that the effort isn't there, and a lot of players are upset. Like I was upset at times when I would look over and just see like players that really didn't care. There are players. It's usually, I'm not gonna say it is usually the younger players that either weren't playing that much during the season or just, you know, were just there during practice squad and everything like that. It usually does come from those kinds of players. However, it's usually set by the example of the people in your room. So what really boggled me for Colorado was that they were coming off an impressive win against Iowa State before after that bye week.
Never would have
So
guessed.
never would have guessed to hear a former Colorado Buff player come in and literally say, "Oh, you guys are lazy. You guys aren't playing like you can." Like it seemed like what's going on out here, like they should have been a riding a high. They came off the game, a great game. They came off a good bye week to get your body rested and well prepared. And for them not to attack the week like they should have, it showed. And now we're coming into this next week where they're playing an unranked team, mind you, but still a great quarterback. They have a great defensive secondary, and Colorado hasn't shown to be able to attack either one at the moment right now. The defense needs to step up, the offense needs to step up, and it's all a mentality thing. And this is the mentality that Coach Prime had been teaching. This is the mentality we were talking about throughout this entirety of this whole series and this whole season. We've talked about that dog mentality. We've talked about the mentality that Colorado needs to have to go out there and finish games. And Colorado hasn't had that mentality. They've shown that they can have it at times.
Yeah.
But it was never truly ingrained in them. And that's upsetting because their record really reflects the mentality that the players have on that sideline, because a lot of them you can see they gave up in this last game. A lot of them you might see a lot more giving up this next game, unfortunately, because that's just how it goes. Or you might see a turnaround. You might see Colorado really trying to fight on their last legs and come back and be like, you know what, we have a chance to make a bowl game. We literally have this game that's coming up, Arizona. They're not the greatest opponent in the world, but it'll still be a challenge. This is still our cushion game, as to speak. So even if we do lose this game, we still have a chance of making a bowl game. I don't want them to think like that, but they have to understand, hey, if we want to keep this cushion game, we have to win this game. So that way we have more chances to win.
Yeah.
Versus,
It's a great point, because you go from, if you lose this game, then you got to win out, right? But if you win this game, then you just have to win 2 out of your last 3. And it's a very big difference from like, okay, everything's riding on game to game to like, you don't want to have that cushion game, like you said, but it does ease the mind a little bit where it's not over after one loss. But yeah, I think Arizona is going to be a good litmus test of like, how much does this team care? How many adjustments can the coaches make, right? Because while players are playing for pride and stuff, coaches are coaching for their jobs, right? Not Deion Sanders per se, but the people around Deion Sanders need to essentially figure out what they can do to turn things around. Because like you said earlier, he's evaluating everyone, right? He's not just evaluating like, oh, Jordan Domineck he's not running after someone, the ball carrier on 3rd and 5 when it's to the other side, right? He's looking at, okay, who put Jordan in that position, right? Who called that play? Why are they doing this, right? So pressure's on everyone. And I think if you're Colorado, you want to show that you have some heart. You want to show that you have some guts, because I think there's nothing more embarrassing in football than getting blown out when you don't care, because it's just like you have no self-pride or self-respect, where it's just like, I don't care anymore. It's like, okay, then hang up the pads, hang up the cleats, right? You don't need to be out there if you don't care, right? And so that's going to be it's going to be a really interesting game, Jordan. Right now, let's take a look at the odds makers, who they have winning, because this is a home game for Colorado, but they have Arizona favored by 3.5, and ESPN's FPI, which is like the computer, gives Arizona a 58% chance of winning, right? So pretty much everyone's already expecting Colorado to lose this game. So are you going to prove them wrong, or are you going to prove them right and just sort of roll over on the season? So we will find out when we come back. Myself and Jordan are going to debate probably the toughest thing to talk about around Colorado right now, which is the quarterback situation.
Oh my goodness.
This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. You can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make every drive feel like anything but every day. From smooth handling to intuitive controls, like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, making us your first listen of the day. Okay, Jordan, it's the toughest Locked On Buffs topic we have right now, which is, what should Colorado do at quarterback? So we talked about the scenarios off air, and I'll sort of walk everyone through the scenarios, because we don't want to dive too much into the scenarios. But scenario number one, and I'll let you pick from your favorite scenario. Scenario number one, you ride with Kaidon Salter until you're no longer bowl eligible, right? You're kind of just like, okay, once we're no longer bowl eligible, that's when we turn to Juju. The problem with that, I think, is you sort of just like are kind of admitting that like you're throwing Juju in when the season doesn't matter anymore. And I feel like that could probably hurt his confidence a little bit. Possibility number two, you start Kaidon Salter against Arizona and you see how he's doing at halftime. If you guys are down big again, you go to Juju Lewis or Ryan Staub. Possibility number three, you go with Ryan Staub and then eventually turn to Julian Lewis. Or number four, you just go to Julian Lewis and say, hey, let's see what you got. What possibility, what option are you going with?
So I'm going to have to eliminate number 4 off the rip.
Okay.
Because Juju has only played 1 game this year so far.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't want to burn his red shirt to play 5 games for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like that would be a little bit of a waste. So I feel like they'll give Juju at least 1 more game grace period before they like, okay, we're gonna go with that. Number 1, keep Kaidon Salter until that season, until they believe that the bowl season is over with. I believe that would be a good choice, so to speak. However, you have to gauge the mentality of Juju. How does he feel about that? How does he feel coming in? Does he truly believe, oh, they're only putting me in for a chance because of the end of the season and nobody cares? Or is he going to have the mentality of like, okay, let me go get these reps in so I can be ready for next year. Let me get into the offense so I can be ready and get this experience now. It's going to be a mentality game for Juju, and it's going to be a mentality game for Kaidon, because it's like, okay, if I know that if I don't win these 2 games out, is Juju going to be able to just come in and take my spot? But then again, you should know that in the first place, because you are the starting quarterback and you should have been doing, you know,
you've been benched before.
You should be, yeah, you've been benched before. You've seen the things. So I can't say that that's a bad situation. I would believe that that's just mainly the mentality of what that would have going on. To throw in Juju once again, I feel like that second option would be the most valid. I feel like if you were to start Kaidon Salter for Arizona, and if you guys are down big or whatever, or start losing, and you don't see Kaidon Salter performing like he should be performing, I feel like you go with Ryan Staub. I might be biased, but I feel like Ryan has shown game in and game out, whenever he does get an opportunity, he does put it all on the line, and he does show the effort that you would want from your quarterback. He's there to make plays happen. He can't say he's been the most successful on the field, but I will say that his effort and his poise in the pocket, I truly respect him as a quarterback and as a player. I definitely feel like he'd be up for the task if it were to come to that, but I do believe that you would want to have either. I do believe that would be the best possible scenario at the moment. Start Kaidon Salter, see how it goes for Arizona. If they're down, or if they're down big or whatnot, go to Ryan Staub. I wouldn't throw Juju out there just yet, simply because, hey, even if they didn't win this next game against Arizona, which I have all the faith that they will, even if they didn't win this game, you could still have 3 games left. You still have a chance at a bowl game. We talked about the Cushing game. You still have a chance at a bowl game. But do you go to Staub or Lewis? And that's going to be the main question for you if you were to decide to go to a different quarterback.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. I think it's a complicated situation. I would, if you gave me the choice, now that I'm thinking about the red shirt factor for Juju, I think you go with Salter or Staub for the Arizona game, and then down the stretch, the last 3 games, you go to Juju, right? Assuming you don't like blow Arizona out with say Salter starting, you blow them out and it's like 40-0 with Kaidon Salter at the helm. It's like, okay, you got to ride the hot hand, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But like, say it's like an uninspiring performance, which I think we've seen a few from him. I think you preserve Juju's red shirt and then you just give him a chance down the stretch and you just go, hey, we believe in you to get us to a bowl game, because in a way he's still playing for something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting the reps and he's saving the red shirt. So I like that option the best. Would you agree with that?
But the question, I would agree with that. But my question is, do you just bypass Ryan Staub on the way to Juju?
I mean, it's unfortunate. And I know he was your teammate. And I think yes, just because Juju's the future. And I think that's sort of the hard part about recruiting rankings and like the NIL stuff is like, you know, because either way, Ryan Staub was never meant to be the future of Colorado once they brought in Julian Lewis, right? He was meant to be a bridge quarterback or a backup, right? So I think Ryan Staub will get an opportunity elsewhere, and I think he deserves an opportunity elsewhere. But I think if you're Colorado, you have to be strategic and sort of play the game of like, who are we more invested in? Are you invested in Ryan Staub more than the 5-star freshman that you beat out Auburn and USC for? If you are, then go with Ryan Staub. But
yeah,
I think in actuality, they're more invested in Julian Lewis, which is the hard part about this era of college football.
And I mean, I get that. I see where you're coming from with that, and I feel like I have to agree on that because I love Staub to death, and I feel like he's a great quarterback. He definitely should get an opportunity. But as you said, it is trying to build the future. You are trying to get your quarterback as many reps as possible, and
yeah, it's not easy.
But my question, I have one more question for you though.
Yeah, hit me.
Do you believe that Juju gives them the best chance of winning over Ryan Staub or going to a bowl game over Ryan Staub? Because that's also a decision factor as well.
I've seen Julian Lewis play twice, once in the spring game and then once against Delaware for like a drive or two. And honestly, I didn't think he was ready to be at this level, if we're being full transparency, like completely honest. So my answer to that would be no. I don't think Julian Lewis gives you a better chance. I think there's a reason that he hasn't played yet, right? There's a reason they haven't turned to him at this point. So to answer that question, Ryan Staub gives you the better chance. But I think if you're Colorado, you sort of have to decide if you care more about salvaging this season or keeping Julian Lewis happy and sort of having your future, I guess, work out. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't think it is the right answer, honestly. I don't think there is, but
it's hard. It's hard. It's definitely hard because there are so many avenues that you could go. So many avenues you can go, and you don't know exactly what could pan out, what couldn't, because you can either go for success right now, obviously, or you can try and invest in your future. But how much are you willing to sacrifice? Would you sacrifice this whole season or the rest of the season? And do you believe it would be a sacrifice if you were to invest in your future right now?
That's
like it could be, it could work out. It might be like, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. The amount of strategy that has to go into each decision that Coach Prime and any head coach in college football has to make. It's insane. And hopefully we figure it out, and hopefully we come out here this next week against Arizona with either Salter or Staub, and we go out, we beat some Wildcats, and just keep it pushing.
Make the decisions easy. Yeah.
Make the decisions easy.
Yeah. It'll be tough. Oh, man. Tough questions. I don't know. I don't think there's a right answer for any of them because there's always a devil's advocate angle to be played. But we will find out on Saturday, and we'll make sure to discuss it next week. See how we did because we gave you 17 different options. So hopefully we got one of them right. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, making us your first listen of the day. I'm Kevin Borba. He's Jordan Domineck, and I will see you guys tomorrow.